Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Comics Pals Reviews. Today, I am joined by Tyler.
Oh, that's me. Hi. Hello.
And Marco.
That's me.
That's him.
Okay, and I'm Sean.
Real high
we're going to
energy
be talking. We're going to be talking about four of Marvel and DC's biggest releases this week. As we close out the year, I feel like both companies have really been putting out some really great comics. So I'm excited to talk about these four. We've got Wastelanders Wolverine, #1. Tyler, what do you have to say about this cover?
It's got Cyclops on it, so it's good.
All right, but who did it?
I don't know who did that cover, to be honest. Is that
doesn't look like our boy McNeven to you?
It doesn't look like McNiven to me. No.
Well, let's find out who did it. Let's look.
It looks more like the guy who did. Is it McNiven?
It absolutely is.
No,
McNiven is really changing up his style.
It sure is, man.
No, it says right here, Jose Maria Casanovas.
But this is not. I don't believe this is cover A. I think this is cover B.
That's the regular cover.
This is cover A.
It's the one I got.
All right, guys, that's the show.
All
right, whatever.
All right, we're good.
Thing #2.
That's not McNiven.
No, that is the McNiven
not.
one.
That's big.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this is McNiven.
McNiven
Batgirls.
on his DC debut. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's a good cover.
It's a beautiful cover.
I'll ask you a question about that once we get to it, but I got a question. Yeah.
All right. And Robin and Batman #2. This is also not McNiven.
Jeff, that's Dustin Nguyen.
Yes.
That I recognize. That one I recognize. Mostly because it's also the guy who did interiors, but I digress.
Hey, we use our context clues on this podcast, or at least some of us do. Speaking of the podcast, if you want to support us, get us to 500 subscribers on YouTube by hitting the subscribe button, youtube.com/thecomicspals. Like the video, share it with your friends, leave us a comment in the comment section below. All that stuff's free to do, and it helps us out a lot more than it costs you. If you listen to this elsewhere, follow, rating, and a review. All those things are super important, and we really appreciate them. Listen to our main show, The Comics Pals, which drops every Monday. This week, we actually got to interview, once again, the writer of Made in Korea, Jeremy Holt. They were awesome enough to stop by and talk to us about that cool book and some other things that they've got going on. So give that a listen. It's really fun. And if you're curious, we will be doing our Spider-Man No Way Home film review this weekend. So that'll drop Monday as well. Find out if I have to do something really, really horrible on that show. Tyler, I can tell you didn't listen to the most recent episode because of the face you just made.
I didn't, guys. I'm sorry. I've been binging Critical Role. I'm sorry.
Don't worry about it. I understand. Real quick, I'll explain so that everyone is hip. If Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire do not appear in the movie, because that's been my theory since they announced the movie,
Mm-hmm.
I have to watch every single Pirates of the Caribbean film and review them by myself.
That's not a bad thing. Those are pretty fun.
You don't know that I hate pirates with a fire.
I do know you hate pirates. I do know you hate pirates.
So then there you go.
Would you record those too?
I have to do a review.
Here's I'll add something to that.
Okay.
If that happens to be the case, I'll join you.
Okay. That makes it great. That's fun.
No, that's not fair.
I enjoy those movies.
Great.
I'll do fan of the theme park ride. I can tell you the differences between all. There's about 3 big different rides across the world. Never mind. I'm not going to get into my pirates.
Dude, we should launch a podcast about rides. No, not a pirate
rides.
Podcast.
Yes.
Oh, I could totally do one about rides. Yeah. Not necessarily pirates in general, but
we'll bring on Brian.
I mean, like Pirates of the Caribbean was actually not originally going to be in Florida because Disney at the time thought it's too close to the Caribbean. Nobody wants to see that.
What?
Wow.
They had like a Wild West thing planned, and then that went under. So
big shock. All right. Enough about that craziness. Let's talk about comics.
One of my niche interests.
We're gonna start with Wastelanders Wolverine #1. So this book I chose for a couple of reasons. So the first reason is the writer, Stephen S. the Knight, who of course was the showrunner on Daredevil, which is pretty cool, and then I'm pretty sure was a writer on Buffy. He's joined by.
You seem less secure on that than last week.
You know what? After I screwed up on who did the cover for this, now I'm just insecure in myself.
You're hedging your bets.
You guys made me doubt me. That sucks.
You can do it, Sean. We
Thank you.
We all make mistakes. We're human.
That's true. Ibrahim Mustafa is joining him on art, and Niraj Menon on colors, with Corey Pettit doing the letters for this one. Now, the second reason that I chose this is because I was a fan of the Old Man Logan book. I thought that was awesome. And I haven't revisited that world at all, I don't think, since I read that book. So Did you
jump in at all during Secret Wars?
Okay, that was the other time. I read, okay. Yep. So this is my return to that. I think they've done some things since then. I know there were a couple of things. So this is my return to that. I just wanted to check in. I didn't realize that this was a one shot, but that's okay.
Me neither. Yep.
Yeah. What did you guys make of this story? Marco, I would imagine you don't really have any familiarity with this world, right?
I've read Old Man Wolverine.
Okay.
I liked it. It's a cool, sort of contained story. I know that they did the Old Man Logan stuff, like I think it was like a 2019 issue run or something, a few years back, but I never popped on it at any point. But this was cool. I didn't expect this to have been the world we were jumping back in, so I actually appreciated that. Because I had no context for him. Like, Wastelanders must be like a new thing. I guess he's old. It's just an old Wolverine story.
Sure, which is technically true, but
true.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was fun. I didn't realize, like, I kind of missed the action of that story, especially when they did the recap page. I thought that the baby Bruce as like a way of moving forward was a cool concept. It could probably be explored a little bit more. And then I got to the end, and I was like, "Oh shit, this is a one shot." And I didn't know how to feel, because I saw potential in it, and I would have liked to have continued.
Yeah. How about you, Tyler?
So first of all, you were half right about Buffy. He was a story editor on Buffy, but he did write Angel. So I just looked it up for you.
All right, okay, fine, whatever.
some Smallville. No, you did good. You did right. Also the writer of Pacific Rim Uprising. So Steve Knight's got an interesting resume under his belt. But yeah, Old Man Logan is one of those like characters that has a very strange comic book history. There was, the Old Man Logan stuff by that was by McNiven and
Millar.
Millar. And it's like lauded as one of like the really good like Millar like self-contained stories that really kind of I guess jump started this whole other universe, really, that was, I guess, canonically a universe once Secret Wars came around.
Yeah.
And then since then his story has kind of gotten weird. He, after Secret Wars, he became the main Wolverine of the Marvel universe, like the 616. It was during like the X-Men Gold era, and he had his own series going on. That series, very good actually. But that series, like, so I had read all of that before. Like I've read pretty much, I would say, majority of like the Old Man Logan stuff, not necessarily the side, things of like Hawkeye and Star-Lord and stuff like that.
Right.
But I have read most of the Logan stuff, and this kind of threw me off guard off the bat, because we've had a teenage Bruce before in continuity. Like we've already gotten there, it's already progressed that far. So I'm like, right off the bat, I'm like, this is a one shot, isn't it? This is just a peek into that world. So I was a little disappointed in that, because I'm like, this is a story in the life,
right.
I guess. But I think the art really kind of sucked me in. I was having a really good time with the art. And let me get the creative team up here. Artist Ibrahim Mustafa. Yeah, Ibrahim Mustafa did the art on the Jean Grey series back when she was young Jean Grey, after during Bendis' era, which I really enjoyed that series. So seeing him again is great. So I was kind of really drawn on the art, and once I accepted it was one shot, I was like, all right, sure, I'll go along for the ride, and it's fun. It has a baby eating a human arm. So what more can you want? I didn't think it was like great, but I thought it was like a fun one and
romp.
done kind of story.
Yeah.
It
Good
was
romp.
it was very clean. Like it kind
Sure,
of
yeah.
it's not, deep or anything, but it's like a good solid story. You have that beat that I thought was great where Wolverine is confronted by the Hulk, or Bruce Banner, and you see the little kid, the son, like Hulk up, and Wolverine thinks, oh man, now I have to fight them both or whatever. But the kid is actually trying to protect Logan. That was a cool, nice little moment. I wasn't thrilled that it was Bruce returning in the suit. It makes more sense to me now that I know what you just said, that this is just right after the book or whatever. I thought, oh wow, this is like some time later and Bruce is still alive. I was like, oh, that's a little goofy. But I thought it worked really well. Like it wasn't a revelation or anything, but if this were to be something that was going to be ongoing, I would have been like, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll definitely check out issue 2 because this was satisfying. The art was great. And again, the Knight nailing the core Wolverine stuff. You get a little refresher, little story, small story. If this were leading to bigger things, sure, why not?
Yeah, he definitely hit all the right checklists.
Yeah.
Like check marks for like a one shot. Introduce character, introduce side characters, introduce the backstory as quickly as possible, and then reestablish the ongoing story. Like it's well done. It's a very clean book, like you said. Yeah.
That feels oddly fresh. Just because I think we've been reading a lot. We've been reading
a competent book feels fresh.
No, the like the self-contained aspect of it, of you're coming into this one and done story. Because I think the stuff that we've been reviewing and reading has been these long arcs, and they tell these stories over multiple issues. But it was nice to just be like, hey, this is the story. Let's jump into the rest of the story. And obviously we're not going to, but being able to see that setup, I think was, it's well done and satisfying.
And the art was great for this world too. I don't think every artist necessarily belongs in the Old Man Logan verse, the Wastelanders verse, whatever we're calling it. But Ibrahim Mustafa's style, combined with the colors from Menon, just perfect for this space. It has that Western feel to it. It works on that level. But it's not dirty. It's like it's clean at the same time. I like it. It's very good.
I do think when she brought up the fact that I was kind of bummed it was Bruce. Like I'm kind of bummed about that too. Like one of the cool things about this whole Old Man Logan, sector of the Marvel universe is that you get to see weird takes on characters.
Right.
I'm like, sure, it was Hulkbuster Hulk in a way, but like I don't know. Show me someone else. Show me I don't know. Bullseye in Wastelander verse, although I think he's in the Hawkeye stuff. So
I thought it was.
I like seeing those weird.
Oh, okay. That would have been cool.
Because he kept saying runt, and that's who I associate that type of language with. You were gonna say you thought it was cool to see the Ghost Riders, Tyler?
No, I mean I thought it would be cool to see a new character we haven't seen in the Wastelander verse.
Oh, yeah. I agree with that. But at the same time, I do like that this verse, at least is what I know of it, is not overly populated with those people, just because the idea is that they're supposed to be gone. So too many of them, and then it's like, okay, well, how many really died? Like, who else is hanging around somewhere?
Oh, I see. Like, it doesn't feel like that initial storyline was kind of like as I guess impactful.
Yeah, if too many characters are still alive, well, then how many did Wolverine and them really kill?
Sure.
Well, he killed Cyclops. That much we know.
Yeah, they just love to hammer that home, man.
Yeah, seriously. He killed his threesome mate. It's messed up.
Ooh, that's sad.
Cyclops was right about Wolverine. I would say pull it. It's fun. If you have familiarity with the Old Man Logan stuff, I just pull it. It's good.
Yeah, agreed. Pull it.
Let's talk about Thing. This was the surprise book of last month. The Thing number 2.
I wasn't here for that.
Yeah, and you were the one I think who was like high on it too. Like you really
I
were.
also haven't listened to the show yet. Sorry, guys, because I didn't read Thing until like a week ago, but I didn't want to get spoiled from the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know your takes on it.
That's fun. I like that. So Walter Mosley is the writer here. Tom Riley on art, Jordi Belair doing the colors, Joe Sabino on letters. So to smarten you up, Tyler, obviously we hated it.
Learn me.
Just kidding. We loved it. We thought it was brilliant. Walter Mosley was not a writer that we were familiar with. He came out of left field, knocked it out of the park. Turns out he's actually like a 60-something-year-old dude, maybe 50s or 60s, whatever he is. And this is his first comic.
It's a fiction writer, from what I remember reading, right?
Yeah, like noir or something like that. Crime stories.
Yeah,
it's funny. Those like whenever they tap like a word fiction writer to write a comic book, it's always like a weird choice. Not to pick the writer for it, but like the character they chose. Like I remember it was like not New 52, but like shortly after Dial H for Hero came out. And they chose a fiction writer for that. And at the time, that book was fucking bonkers. It was great because it's just like somebody with a different skew and perspective on writing.
Sure.
Writing something, but like I'm really digging this Thing book. It's super fun.
It really is. I wonder if in those instances that you're referring to, the writer don't say to the writer, like, do you have a pitch? And the writer goes, yeah, I have this Thing story I've always wanted to tell, you know?
Yeah.
I could see that because this feels like someone writing the character who's intimately familiar with, what makes the Thing tick.
I think
go ahead, Marco.
They're like willing to, I guess, play around in the sandbox too,
Yeah.
because it kind of reminds me of the Beta Ray Bill stuff where Danny Warren Johnson just kind of comes in and takes it to wherever he wants to go and wants to explore. And this feels like one of those, or at least from these first two issues, it feels like one of those stories where he's just going to drive the narrative he wants to tell using the Thing, but in a way that stays true to his character and makes the story that much more consistent.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And I think one of the other things that like about this Thing story that I'm really enjoying is that Fantastic Four is typically one of the whitest books you can read, and then the supporting cast of this is all, Black people,
Yep.
It's, you don't have to deal with, vanilla. I can't say cracker. That gets people banned from Twitch now. But like the modern American family of the Fantastic Four. So seeing them kind of expand the supporting cast is great.
Yeah, I love that aspect.
Yeah.
There's something weird going on in this book, though, right?
Oh yeah, it's fucking dark. There's something going on there.
Like I'm trying to piece it together myself. This issue features the Thing going after a dude named Brusque who is obsessed with an actor or singer, whatever, named Amaryllis, and he goes into this like new Manhattan where,
dude, I love that.
Was
nuts.
That was cool. Underground.
It was like, oh yeah, all the old rich robber barons of New York City decided to make an underground New York City where they can become kings. I'm like, you know what? Plausible.
Yeah, that's not the craziest premise I've ever seen by far.
I can see it.
Yeah.
It's also just a cool, like it'd be a cool world like in like Futurama where
yes,
all
that's what I was thinking. Yep.
That's what I was thinking. It was like all of the mutants are like down below and they have their own society and shit. It's just, it's cool.
It was like Futurama mixed with like Metropolis, where like it's this giant, city that only the rich people control and stuff. Yeah.
Well, they also call that the Morlocks, guys. X-Men. Ever heard of it?
Didn't they just kill them instead? Speaking of killing a whole bunch of people underground, that one panel where he's like the old timey prospector looking dude. He says, "Yeah, Brusque came down here and he killed a whole bunch of people." And then we get like a quarter panel that's just hundreds of bodies, and I was just like, "Yo, what? This little kid's seeing all this?"
Yeah, like what the hell was that about?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's like this book is super goofy, but then there's these little tinges of like really dark elements, which
Mhm.
honestly, it's kind of the Thing's thing, you know?
Is it really?
In a way, I feel like at his core, he's this happy-go-lucky, goofy kind of character. But at his soul, he's unhappy, he's sad, it's dark, he doesn't want to be who he is. And I feel like that book's kind of taking that aspect of the Thing and kind of actualizing it into the actual content of the story.
I mean, dude, look at what he looks like, right? And also, his blind girlfriend said, "You know what? I'm sick of your shit."
Yeah,
And
I don't
dumped him
want to see you no more.
That's right.
when
And
they
then-
were engaged, dude. Tyler.
Couldn't help it. Yeah,
I
so they're
gotta
engaged,
go.
and she just totally just dumps him. He wasn't like, it wasn't even like, yeah, he did like the whole jealous thing, but like she just dumps him. Like, I don't know. I feel like you've already known that's Ben Grimm. Like, where's the big surprise? I don't know. Can we talk about Tom Riley's art? It's good.
Very good.
It's
real
it's
good.
awesome. This book is so great, man. Like, it very much, the art style very much feels like the time that it's, that this story is taking place in, but it has a freshness to it too that I really
Mhm.
appreciate.
There's just one panel where Brusque is fighting the Thing. I think it's early on in the story, and he punches Thing, and the next panel is this great reaction shot of the Thing being like, "You really, dude?" And there's a tread mark on his face from the tires that Brusque
Oh,
has on his
yeah.
fist. And like, it's just like little things like that are just like, this is what I love. It's giving me like big, Marcos Martin, or even more of a Chris Somney kind of vibe, these like flat, colors, and it's real. It's like the Alex Toth kind of school of art that I really enjoy. So this
Yeah.
is right down my, I was gonna say alley, but more like down my Yancey Street. But so
I really appreciate the the moments of action where, like, for example, you mentioned the dead bodies, like that whole panel's like in this like red, and then here on this page, while Brusque and Thing are fighting, you've got those panels where it kind of does get into that red, which is pretty cool. It's like an orangey kind of reddish thing. It's
yeah,
weird.
they're kind of using the Thing's color scheme in the
Right.
storytelling.
Yeah.
Which is not like a traditional color you see. Like, sure, it's the Thing, you're gonna see orange, but using it in storytelling, I don't feel like you really see, unless the actual
Yeah.
environment calls for it. But
And it's all over.
yep. Also, I don't know where the story's going either,
Right.
Yeah. But I
which
love
I'm
that.
totally okay with. Yeah.
It's just fun.
Mhm.
I feel like Marvel's kind of sweet spot right now is these weird kind of solo, not like a tier A-list creative teams and characters that are like kind of doing their own thing, like the Kang book that we read the first issue of. I'm still reading that. It's really good. But just like weird stuff like that, there's this undercurrent of really fun Marvel books, and I think Thing is right up there with all of them.
And I always appreciate when Marvel is like that, where they have their top tier books that are whatever, but they're like B, C books that are just like, wow, this is the best stuff of the year, when they let the creators just do whatever they want.
Yeah.
The only thing that Marvel's missing right now for me is just their top tier character books also being really, really great. Right now, I feel like they're kind of missing the mark.
What do you consider top tier characters, like Cap, Spider-Man?
I would say in comics, Daredevil, Hulk, Thor,
Namor.
What?
Namor. Yep. Yep.
And then the event stuff. The event stuff.
Notorious solo comic character Namor.
I can't get with Marvel's event stuff. I don't think it's been too good over the last few
Devil's
years.
Reign, though.
Devil's Reign, yeah, but that's just an offshoot of
Sure.
Daredevil, right?
You consider that like a Hoxpox sort of thing.
Yeah, that could have just happened in Daredevil.
Not a War of the Realms.
No.
Okay. I get you.
But yeah, and then the character stuff, like Cap, I don't even know who's writing Cap anymore. I don't know. Thor's cool, I guess.
The fact that you don't even know what's going on says a lot.
Spider-Man is rough. I don't know. It's not that it's rough. It's just it comes out 3 times a week. Like, come on,
It's
Marvel.
Ben Reilly too.
Yeah, it's Ben Reilly. Stop it. Just quit it. This is like you're doing the same thing you did 10ish years ago, but you're like, but wait, now it's not even Peter, it's Ben Reilly. You care about Ben Reilly? No, we'll have it 3 times a week.
So I know this is a tangent, and I will say that I am actually enjoying that Spider-Man book. And this is not a review of Spider-Man because I'm not up to date on Spider-Man. I'm like 4 issues behind. But you think they're coming out with a movie, you'd want Peter Parker in the main Spider-Man book. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, it's just like when The Dark Knight was coming out and DC's like, hey, you want to know the best way to celebrate the best Batman movie ever, the biggest blockbuster of all time? Let's have Batman dead, Bruce Wayne dead, and have an entirely different person be Batman. That's a great idea, right?
Was that Dick Grayson? Was that around the time?
Yeah, that was the exact same summer.
Best Batman stories of the past decade.
I'm not arguing with you about that. I'm just saying that that's a weird business decision.
I agree. Yep.
It's also a weird business decision for us to not be reviewing a comic right now. So we'll shift gears. Oh, pull thing. I think it's brilliant. If you want
pull your
something,
thing, guys. If you've listened to Sean, always pull your thing. Yank it. Yank your thing.
Not everyone has a thing to yank, man.
You can yank your friend's thing if you get permission.
Stop being exclusionary, okay?
A thing could be anything that you want it to be.
Yeah, but there's things you can't pull.
Sometimes your thing is in your heart, though. And that's what really matters.
Well, if you can pull on your heart thing, that's troubling.
Probably go to a doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pull the thing. It's great. It's different. You'll love it if you're looking for something a little off kilter with a character that you almost assuredly love, but have never read a solo book about. It's worth it.
This was my pick of the week out of the 4 that we're going to be talking about. So.
Awesome.
Oh, nice.
Very good. Well, let's shift into DC and talk about their number 1 of the week, Batgirls number 1. I got the sweet cover. Tyler, you said you had something to say about it.
Well, I was going to ask both of you guys, who's your favorite Batgirl?
My favorite Batgirl's Batgirl, man.
Yeah, I think so.
Are you saying Babs?
Yeah.
Babs, yeah, but not Oracle Babs.
No, Babs.
Babs.
You talking like, well, there's different variations. Are you talking like, do you have a favorite era of that? Is it like Burnside? Is it Gail Simone stuff?
Gail Simone.
Yeah, okay.
That was nuts. And like I love Oracle. Like I love that sort of role for her. I'm not a person who doesn't like that role. But for me, I grew up watching, the TV show where Batgirl's there. And I thought that was so cool. I thought it was crazy that Bruce Wayne had this, obsession with like kid soldiers, and he brought on, Jim Gordon's daughter to fight crime. Yeah. Like this is nuts. And so I really, really loved that as a kid. And when I finally got into comics, Batgirl or Barbara was not Batgirl anymore. And I didn't understand that. That was weird to me. And so when Gail Simone took her out of the chair, for me, that was such a cool, triumphant moment. And I really
you're talking New 52?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep. Marco, did you have an answer or?
Honestly, the only Babs that anything related to Batgirl that I'm reading right now is in Nightwing. So
okay.
Been there. She's in both roles. She goes out in costume, and then she's also Oracle.
Yeah. Which is cool. I'm a big fan of the Babs Tarr, Brendan Fletcher, Burnside run.
I haven't read
stuff to me. Oh, it's so good looking, dude. It's fun. She's like an app designer at the time, so like it's a little current, but also kind of makes sense for the character. It's fun.
I bought the first issue of that, and it was too different for me. So
very different. Yeah.
I would say that this book is probably as different as that one was. It's just so weird and fun and goofy. It features, as the name suggests, the Batgirls. We've got Barbara, Stephanie, and Cassandra, which is pretty cool. I like that. It picks up what appears to be pretty close to directly after Fear State. Tyler, I'm sure you can speak to that. Um,
Pretty much
and-
directly after. I think
Yeah.
either Detective Comics or Batman had a Batgirls backup with this team on it. So
okay.
yeah.
They're on the run. They've moved into a different part of Gotham to get away from the Seer, who is basically Oracle but bad. Um, I like the premise. I think it's fun. They get into some hijinks and stuff like that. They have to keep a low profile, but obviously that's harder for some of them to do than others. It's fun. I liked it a lot, except that the art I didn't love as much as I was hoping to.
Huh. Okay. I was the opposite. I like the art a bit more than sort of the story and the structure of it. It feels a little anime inspired, some manga sort of flashiness, but it's kind of it has that splatter that what's his name? Ricardo Lopez Ortiz.
Okay.
And he did a book with Steve Orlando. He was on Riley Rosmo.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
an anime plus
Yeah.
Riley Rosmo kind of style, which I
It's
dug.
it's the same guy who's did what's that Image book, The Me You Love in the Dark, that we read.
Oh, Get Out. Is it really?
Yeah, that Scotty Young book. He also did Middle West with Scotty Young.
Okay.
Um,
I've been enjoying that book, so cool.
Yeah, but it's not something I would expect to see in a Gotham book. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
it's very different. In it's weird because the Batman books have kind of been skewing that way lately. Both of the artists that you mentioned have been in Batman books.
Yeah.
I believe
Yep.
Ricardo Lopez Ortiz was doing the Ghostmaker backups in Batman, which I think you might like that, Marco. It's essentially fucking manga, but it's fun. It's weird. But I'm enjoying it. I really like the art.
Mhm.
I'm not sure. This book was a little too quirky with the capital Q for me. Like, but I would give it a second issue. Like, I had fun with this. I like the character moments. I think Cloonan and Conrad kind of get the characters pretty well. Barbara's really being a mom in this whole thing. You know, the mother hen of the group. And they know to not give Cassie too many lines. Like, that's always my fear. It's like, oh, if you make Cassie talky, you're not doing it right.
Right.
So Stephanie kind of really bears the weight of a lot of the dialogue in this, and I think that's fine. I think she's a good, compelling character. Yeah, I'm interested to see where it goes. It's different. It's not what I expected, but I think it is fun for what it is.
Yeah, like I don't know if I necessarily cared about the things that actually happened in the issue, like the plot of it.
Was it an oversized? It felt long.
Yeah, it felt
did.
long, and that was actually going to be one of my criticisms, was that there was a point at which I was like, oh wow, this was cool. I like a little bit of a palate cleanser, something really different, and then it just didn't end. And I was like, okay, well, when is this book going to end? And by the time it ended, it almost had overstayed its welcome a little bit for me.
Yeah, I almost felt like the actual cliffhanger should have been when they fought off those thugs and there was those weirdo construction
Yes.
worker guys.
Yes,
You
that's
know?
exactly.
And then it kept going. I'm like, oh, okay, we're gonna keep going on this.
Yep. And but the guys who robbed Cass, like, do I really care about that? No, she beat them up. That's typical stuff. Why were they able to then go on to do other things? She just beat them up. They should have been arrested. I couldn't find myself really caring about that stuff, but the interplay between the characters was a ton of fun.
Yeah, seeing the banter was cool, but then seeing the actual like action, I think the zombie workers or whatever was there, like that kind of came out of left field and felt really dissonant with the rest of what was going on. And
Yeah.
I'm not sure with the Seer stuff even, so that could just be totally different as well. But then at the end we get these the Saints come in, and that also felt dissonant because I just got introduced to these zombie sort of situations, and I thought we were going to continue to explore that. But they just seem to throw a lot in this
There's
book.
a lot here, yeah.
Yeah.
And this seems to be very dependent on not necessarily reading the Fear State stuff, but having a cursory knowledge of it. Like these Saints are magistrate officers that I guess have gone rogue since the magistrate kind of dissolved after the end of Fear State. Spoiler there. So yeah, this is like probably one of the more, like, we read Batman last week, which was good, but it just glanced over, not really glanced over the Fear State stuff, addressed it and moved on. Whereas this is like, it has direct tie-ins to what happened at the end of Fear State. It's kind of expanding upon, which is fair because the backup that this kind of, jumps off from was during Fear State. So I get that. But not necessarily everyone was reading that if they're jumping into a new number one. So I will say the coloring of this, very fun.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
Again, it's that weird secondary colors that I've been, talking about, like with Mike Spicer's stuff more recently. And this has kind of been a big theme of the Fear State stuff. There's a lot of greens, a lot of purples, a lot of oranges. But that one splash page where it's Cassie and Stephanie just
Yeah.
fighting with like the neon yellow green in the background, that was great. It's great. I really enjoy the art on this. So yeah, it's a good looking book.
For sure.
Yeah. I would say pull it. It's fun. Especially if you like the Batgirls, if you like any one of them, I think they're all like fairly well represented. Yeah, no reason not to. The art didn't light me on fire, but obviously it did for these guys. So just a difference of opinion there. But I definitely say you should pick this up.
Yep.
Let's get on to my pick of the week.
Same.
Yep, with one huge
Interesting.
caveat that I'll
Okay.
get to later.
Okay.
I wonder if
Robin,
it's the same caveat I have.
it might be. It's possible.
Is it a continuity caveat?
No.
Okay, minus.
Although there was something highly annoying about. I don't know if continuity is the
Let's talk
word,
about it.
but
Let's talk about
okay.
it. Yeah.
Jeff Lemire is the writer here. Art and colors by Dustin Nguyen, and Steve Wands did the letters. So we loved the first issue of this. It was great, cool to see a book that's more focused on Robin at a time frame that we don't necessarily see a lot. The time between Bruce and Robin, or Bruce and Dick getting together, and Dick being Robin and like a happy-go-lucky kid. When Bruce first brings Dick into the fold, he's an angry child, just like Bruce was. But he finds his peace and his joy through the suit and his new life, right? We all know that. This is that in-between point, right? So that's what's cool about this premise.
Can I butt in real quick there?
Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like that's not always been the case with Dick, though. I feel like Dick's whole thing was that he was the antithesis to Batman. He wasn't, the guy who gets into fights. He was one who always helped people. He was the happy-go-lucky one of the two, at least since his origin. I feel like this is, he's writing a good Damian here. Oh, he's writing a good Jason here. I don't really feel Dick in this. Should have worded that differently. I don't really feel Dick Grayson in this. There's little peaks of it, like the stuff with the Titans, I think feels like Dick Grayson to me, but
Yeah, just a tip, right?
Yeah, just the tip of it. But the stuff in like the school, him getting in the fights with bullies and stuff, like I feel like he would go about that differently. And maybe that's just me, but
I have a counterpoint.
Sure.
So my first thought to that is, he didn't start the fight, right? He's being, bullied and stuff like that. My second point is that we can see that the Dick that we know and love is here, right? Like,
sure,
he draws pictures and he writes in his diary and he has genuine fun with the Titans, even though there's something, about that. Like, he wants to be the fun-loving person that we know him to be, is dying to break out. He's just going through a rough patch. And I don't think it's unreasonable that this could have been a period in his life.
Okay. I'll take that.
Do we remember when his parents died in this story? Was it not like recent as well?
I think the idea is that it
relatively.
Within I would imagine within probably like some months,
Yeah,
I consider this like Robin year one,
Yeah.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah. So I feel like even that there's like angst and there's, dealing with those emotions as well that I think breaks through a bit.
Yeah. Totally.
Fair.
So this issue sees us kind of seeing what Dick's life is like we talked about. He's getting into fights and things like that. It casts Alfred very much in the light of the father figure, which is not weird at all because that's Alfred's role typically. But to Bruce's, like, not necessarily absentee father, but he clearly sees Dick as more of a resource than a son or even a brother or anyone that he's responsible for in a real way.
He even says that he's a soldier, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my problem with the book, actually.
Really?
Yes. I love the issue. That's not Bruce.
I agree.
Yeah.
And so I had the same feeling, but I thought that because this is also a story where we're trying to unravel Dick's own happiness and his own character, that's going to be the reflection, that's what's going to be reflected onto Bruce here. So that to me felt like, okay, this is the conflict.
Oh, we just lost him.
No, we lost Marco. This is the conflict that Robin and Batman. I guess should I just jump in?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, well, I agree with you, Sean. I think the whole dynamic that Bruce and Robin have always had, especially Dick, is that Bruce is in a way trying to give him the childhood that he never had. You know,
Right.
He's trying to protect that, not make him another soldier. Which I think this is losing a bit there. Also, the Watchtower didn't exist back when Batman first got Robin.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
yeah.
come on.
That was hard to swallow, which that's the part of this where it's like, okay, is this Black Label? Are we supposed to take this as because someone, I think it's Hawkman, has an iPhone.
It's a Lex phone. It's a Lex phone. Let's come on, copyright. Yeah, no, I'm with you. Am I getting to become more of a continuity stickler the older I get? Is what I wonder. It's like because I have all this useless information in my head that I need to, coalesce and justify. You know,
I'm very slightly older than you, so I can tell you from experience. Yes, you will.
All right, yeah. Marco, what were you saying before the internet decided to screw you over?
What did you hear? Actually, I'll just do it from the top.
yeah. Read your notes.
Yeah. So
we take notes here, guys.
We do. Yeah. Let me pull these up. I think the soldier statement from Batman, I think made sense because as we're trying to get to know Dick and get to know his personality and understand that he's this happy child, that's going to get reflected back onto Bruce because that's what we're trying to disarm on Bruce's end. You know, he's on the precipice of going off the deep end with being Batman and being too invested in it. And the story there and the reason we have Alfred as, that counterpoint to Bruce's sort of uncaring is that we're trying to get him closer to Alfred. And by doing so, you need to have the ugly of Bruce and that ugly of Dick, and then they will help each other to become like the better people, their better selves. And so like for me, that made sense that he would go, "You're a soldier. Like, what is the thing?" Because that's what we're trying to tackle. I
like that point a lot, but it unfortunately for me it falls apart when you consider why did he adopt Dick in the first place? It wasn't to make him a soldier. So what is this? If you adopted him because you felt for him because he went through what you went through, then you would imagine that a person would say, I want you to have what I never had, which is that goes back to the origin of Robin. That's just part and parcel of the story. So it can't be both. He didn't intend to raise a soldier. He intended to raise a child. And now this book is suggesting even like the twist at the end where it turns out that he sent Robin to be with the kids because he needed him to analyze what their weaknesses were, which of course turn out to be all the same weaknesses of the adults almost. But he even that idea is like, okay, so he's not going to be a child at all. He's just a monster. He's just your weapon. That doesn't feel real to me.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Yeah.
That aside though, and like again, if you see it from Marco's perspective, that makes sense too, and it's validated through like prior stories as well, where Robin is that counterpoint to Bruce's anger. I just wish they could have found a way to express that same idea in a way that doesn't cast Bruce in such an awful light.
Okay.
Other than that, though, I had a lot of fun with this. Seeing the kids and their first adventure together, that team up was super cool. And Dick's awe at meeting Superman, I really liked as well. Meeting the whole team, for that matter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's just
I like,
yes, yes, sir. That's cute.
I like casting Garth as an emo kid. Like that works out for me.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah. I just feel like, Lemire's having a great time with this. I don't know his fandom for these characters, but the fact that this book exists suggests to me that it's a story he wanted to tell. And I think, you can ask anyone, it's great when a writer gets to tell the story that's most interesting to them. That's probably why it's so good.
He's a big superhero guy. He's doing Black Hammer at Dark Horse. So like, he's very comfortable, I think, handling the dynamics, the looking at the tropes and being able to really dissect them and portray them in really interesting ways.
Yeah.
And this is excellent work. This is his character work. I'd love him as a writer for that.
Yeah, absolutely. From an art perspective, man, this is hot
I
stuff.
love Dustin Nguyen.
Yeah.
In high school, I had to do I was in an art class and we had to so she was like, just draw whatever you want. And I drew like a Dustin Nguyen cover. Looked like shit. But like back then I was just like a big fan of that stuff. So anytime I can see Dustin Nguyen doing more Batman, I'm always for it.
Did you do it in the watercolor?
I did. Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
It was no. It was charcoal. I did charcoal.
Okay.
Whoa, dude, what happened to your future as a comic artist?
I lack initiative.
All right. Fair enough. Me too. You want to team up? This is just an awesome comic. It's kind of sad that there's only one left.
I know. I'm kind of hoping he wants to come back though, or like they want to come back to this, because I would love to see more.
Dustin Nguyen always wants to come back to Batman after a while,
Word.
It's like comfort food for him.
And he's so good at it. And the cool thing is that you get to keep trying, so you keep improving. There's always a new wrinkle on his part. It's just great. I wish we had spent a little bit more time with Croc though.
Well,
he's a good guy, right? Like this is all gonna be leading up to like him like thanking Dick for like helping him when they were both carnies, right? Like,
oh, I hadn't considered that angle.
This is gonna be like a wholesome moment at the end. I don't think he's a bad guy.
I like that twist.
Bruce is gonna come in and just punch his lights out. It's like no,
right? Robin. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, and Robin's gonna talk Bruce down. Like no, this guy. I was cool with him once he recognizes who he is.
That was totally
this is Waylon motherfucking Jones. Me and him used to chill behind the old dunk tank.
Behind the apple bob.
Some nectar.
Yeah.
Wow, guys. Yeah, I think that's the answer. Well, we'll find out next month when issue 3 drops.
Yep. Next year, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Look at that. Gosh, wow.
Yeah.
So weird. Like I said, my pick of the week, definitely a must buy. It's a little more expensive. I think it's $6. Yeah, it's $6, but it's worth it. You're getting extra pages. You're getting amazing artwork. It's just cool. Buy it, support it. Of course, we're going to leave you guys with the books that we're excited for next week as we close out the year. Like, how many more of these are we even going to do? We've got
just next week, right?
Two more
Yep.
before the year is over. So let's see. What are we looking forward to?
I gotta say, next week for me is a Jason Aaron week. I got 2 Jason Aaron books coming out. Wow. Avengers Forever #1.
Okay.
Which is this new Avengers of the Multiverse book that he's doing with I believe it is looking it up. Aaron Cooter. And if you look at it, it looks like Tony Stark, the Iron Man of the Ant-Man of the future,
Right.
is getting together this multiversal team of Avengers. And like, if you look at the cover, it's just a smorgasbord of like weird Marvel shit that I love. Like Captain Carter is on there, Speedball is on there, Goliath is on there, the Avengers era Beast. What is it? Dr. Druid is on there as well. Killraven, I think Volstagg Thor. It's got a lot of weird shit on there, and I'm all about that kind of multiversal Avenger stuff. And then next week it's also King Conan #1 by Jason Aaron and Mahmoud Asrar.
Huh.
The team who did Conan when it was first introduced into the Marvel Universe, coming back to continue their story with King Conan. And I really enjoyed that run. I thought that was really fun, sword and sorcery kind of stuff. So I'm excited to see that again.
I dig that. How about you, Marco?
So I found a Junji Ito book. It's coming out, Deserter. It's some, I guess, a story collection. So not one of like the larger story things, but his individual anthology sort of one-off stories. And anytime
it's like one a year at this point.
He does, and I don't hate that.
Yeah.
Like, give me more. Like he's such a fast artist too. But yeah, definitely excited to read any more Junji Ito stuff. He's excellent. And Catwoman, Lonely City is actually issue #2 is coming out next week. I wasn't as high as you guys were on it, but I love Cliff Chiang, and so I want to see more. So definitely looking to pick it up.
Yeah, you know what? For me, I'm going with Batman One Dark Knight #1 by Jock.
You would. Yep.
Yeah, Jock is one of the greatest Batman artists ever, I think. And
he's writing this one too, right?
Yeah, and he's writing it, which is pretty cool. Yep.
Okay.
So I'm going to go hard for this one. This is a $7 comic, and I do not care. And anybody who's gonna write in and judge me, oh, you're not supposed to buy comics that expensive anymore. Listen, dude, this is Jock and Jock. Okay, like I'm in. And the premise is pretty cool too. It's basically this idea that there's a villain who has taken the power out of Gotham. The power's out, and Batman has to figure out who's doing it, and go through this one really terrible night in Gotham City.
Jock wrote to his strengths there by turning the lights off.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is gonna be cool. There's just some creators who whatever they do, you got to tune in for it. And Jock on Batman that's must-see TV. You just have to. And then you know what? How about a double dose? We'll go with Batman Catwoman #9.
Oh, are you reading that?
Yes, I am.
How do you feel about the Liam Sharp art change on that?
Clayman is my man.
Yeah, I know, man. Tom King just got announced as doing a new Batman series coming out next year. So
yeah,
dude is just gonna keep going.
Which is weird. I thought like he would jump off the Batman train, but sure, fine, whatever. Money talks.
Yeah, exactly.
That is true. And you know what? Just one last one. I got to throw this out there. Trial of Magneto #5. Mind you, not the biggest fan of Trial of Magneto, right? But Leah Williams, Marco, you are muted, but I got you, buddy.
Thank you. In spirit.
Yes, Leah Williams. I really get lost in her plots. And I want to see what the finale is going to look like. Is Magneto guilty or is he not?
Is he going to be in the book? I think that's the question.
Well,
I'm excited to see if Magneto's in the book.
He's actually not in the promo images for Destiny of X, so maybe he is gonna go to jail in this.
He is though. He's in the big group shot by Lanil Yu. He's in his purple gear.
Oh, that's right.
Oh no, you're right. It's not him. That's not in it. You're right.
Yeah.
All right. Well then,
I keep tabs on my boy.
I guess the book's over. Trial of Magneto is unnecessary.
I hope the final issue is just a whole jury discussion. Like,
I was
would,
hoping
like,
for something like
I
that.
honestly give me a trial book. I guess we're getting She-Hulk next year. I'll get plenty of that when that comes out.
Yeah,
So.
fair enough. All right. That's going to do it for us here on this week's reviews. Let us know if there are books that you want us to review that we're not. We're open to it. Listen to our Image Comics reviews, which drop every Wednesday. This week, we put out reviews for Primordial #4 and New Burn #2. Sorry to all the Spawn fans. We didn't have access to King Spawn #5 this week, and we don't know why. Hopefully that will change with the next Spawn
King's
release.
decree, apparently.
Yeah. If it doesn't, we'll move the Spawn reviews here, whatever we have to do to keep you guys happy. Listen to, yes, Tyler, you will have to become
No,
All
no,
your
no.
image contact, quick.
No, Tyler, it's good now. It's good. That's the thing. It's good now.
That's
We
the
have-
one not written by McFarlane, right?
Yeah.
All
So
right,
King
maybe,
Spawn
maybe.
is written by Sean Lewis, who is proving himself. And then also Rory McConville's writing time, who's writing Time Before Time, is now writing the main Spawn book.
Maybe. Sean Lewis. I'm not sure I want to read a book by a guy with 2 first names, so I don't
Fair.
trust that.
That's fair. I won't argue with you there. Listen to our main show, which drops every Monday. Listen to us discuss Spider-Man No Way Home in our review that's going to be dropping also on Monday. Stay tuned for all that good stuff. Listen to find out if I will have to suffer through all the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. I really hope I don't.
Well, you best start believing in ghost stories. 'Cause you're in one.
Dude, I believe in God, and God's name is Kevin Feige. And I prayed on this week's podcast to Kevin to deliver me from evil. Evil is pirates. Evil is Johnny Depp.
Honestly. All right, Amber Heard.
Damn.
I think that would turn your opinion around if you watch those movies. They're dumb fun.
I really don't, dude. And if you really believe that, you do not know me. But
It's good stuff.
I can't do it, man. I really hate pirates.
No,
This is
dude.
not-
You could drink rum and watch pirates.
Oh my
No,
God.
This is not a
See?
gimmick.
No, Sean, the problem is not the problem. The problem is your attitude about the problem.
Exactly.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, well, my
You want me
attitude.
to send you one of those Google Cardboard VR headsets, and I can send you some Pirates of the Caribbean ride through videos that are in 360
No,
VR. Okay, all right.
no,
Okay,
I
all
don't
right,
like
okay,
pirates, dude.
okay, all right.
I can't explain it in any
Kairi
other way.
Sane. You weren't a Kairi Sane fan back when she was in WWE
I like
with her
Kairi
little.
Sane. Yeah,
Okay, there
she
you
broke.
go.
She pierced through that
right,
that
fair,
hatred.
fair,
You know,
fair.
yeah. It's like, never mind. I'm just gonna end the show instead.
Okay, all right. We're gonna go watch AEW. See you. Bye.
We're gonna go watch AEW. Thank you guys so much for listening. Until next week, for Tyler and Marco, I'm Sean saying, take care, guys.
See you guys.